considering how you guys ran the ball in that opener, how big of a concern is that right now? Where would you put a lot of the reason last week for not being able to run the ball effectively?
Well, first and foremost, I think I have to give Rutgers have to give them credit, for where credit is due. I mean, they played hard, up front. They did a really good job on some of their movements and things, and they gave great effort up front. And our guys fought. You know, when I came out of the game, when I left the field, I felt like I felt like in the trenches, we weren't able to get the movement that we needed to get. When I watched the film, it was not as bad as I thought that it was, just coming out of the game. And so, we've got to run the ball better. We need to be able to run the ball on our terms, because having balance on offense, and not being one-dimensional is critically important. And I believe that with a combination of, improvement up front on some technique and fundamentals and some communication things, but also, just hitting the hole with the velocity and the explosiveness that we need to. I believe that we can do a better job, running the football. There was some room there that we were not able to get to, but at times you could see when we were able to hit the hole with some velocity, and there were some creases there, and we were able to get some chunks. And so, we played multiple backs, and we're going to continue to do that. I thought, obviously, Jordan Simmons was someone who impressed me in the game. As a true freshman coming in, running hard and really taking advantage of some of the creases that our O-line created. So, certainly we've got a lot of work to do there.
A little bit more about the run blocking that we're looking into. Offensive linemen have to be ready for anything, of course, but the tilted defensive tackle that Rutgers used, I'm guessing that was a surprise. How difficult was it to adjust to that as the game progressed, and how much of an impact did that have? If it was a surprise, how much of an impact did that have on the problems in run blocking?
No, they did a really good job with the tilted nose, and we see that quite a bit. Our center and our guards are, that's not anything new to them in terms of a tilted nose. And obviously we've got to eliminate penetration. We got to play with great pad level, great hand placement. Play with a base and be able to get some movement. And I feel like we'll be able to get that done. But obviously give them credit. I mean, the guys played hard up front, and they were able to make some plays. But those types of fronts, those types of stunts, whether it's a tilted nose, a head up nose, or a shaded nose, those are alignments that we're going to see on a consistent basis all season. So, again, like I said after the game, we've got a lot of work to do, and offense, defense, and special teams. And so, certainly there's going to be an emphasis on being able to handle that look and things that we feel like we can do versus those types of looks to be successful in a run game.
All right, one other thing with Noah Harvey, had a couple of false steps in the red zone a couple times. But in the fourth quarter, when you guys do a lot of different things, you got into the one gapping, maybe things that he's more familiar with from last year. Even though he's a fourth-year player, looks like he's going through a little bit of a process there also. And how long do you think it might take for some of the players to really get comfortable with the new things that they're doing schematically this year? I
really like Noah as a player. He's an instinctive guy. He plays hard. He's physical. He's got experience. He's a leader out there. He's very dependable, and and obviously we have a new scheme, but we've had a lot of practices. We had had a lot of reps, and I feel like our guys were playing hard and playing fast, and obviously we misfit some runs, but some of the things that we did defensively in terms of rush defense, total defense, pass defense, just as you look at the stats and the rankings, we have some things that we can build on there, and in terms of fitting our runs more cleanly, and also we really need to emphasize and really work hard on our perimeter run force, because we're going to be challenged on the perimeter this week for sure, and so. But I think the players are embracing our scheme and are playing hard and playing fast. And, we were able to, get some takeaways. We were able to get some minus yardage plays. We played hard. Those guys were out there in some sudden change situations. We were able to go out there and get some stops, some key stops. And so they're going to keep playing hard. And again, this is the beginning. It's not the end. And so we're looking to make progress every day and work really hard and you usually make quite a bit of improvement from the first game to the second game, and that's something that we're looking to do through our preparation and hard work this week. Looking forward to this call all week.
Well, thanks for joining us, Coach. We really appreciate it. Michigan State gets ready to take on Michigan this Saturday, October 31st in Ann Arbor at noon on Fox, and we're joined by head coach Mel Tucker. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Thanks for setting us up. Thank you guys again for getting on the call today. Once again, I'd like to really thank all of our medical personnel, our head trainer, Sally, and Dr. Kovan, and just everyone in our organization with the behavior modification and following the protocols. We were able to go out and compete and on a clean field and be safe. And so I just want to thank those guys again. Obviously, this game against school down the road is not just another game, and so it's really special to me. It's special to our players. It's very important to our coaches, to our former players, and to our fans, and to the people of the state of Michigan. And so it's a special game, and we treat it as such. We know that it's always a physical game. Probably be the most physical game, one of the most physical games that we'll play this season. And so we've really got to focus on, being fundamentally sound, taking care of the football, and but first and foremost, we got to be physical on both sides of the ball on special teams, and so we're building the foundation. It's a process. There's some things that we've got to get right, and so we're looking to get those things right this week. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
We'll start with Justin Rose at WXYZ.
Good afternoon, Coach. Just wondering what your maybe earliest memories of this rivalry are, and as you traveled throughout your coaching career, if you kept an eye on this game from a distance, and just to know how good of a rivalry it is nationwide.
Yes, I remember, obviously, playing at Wisconsin, you're aware of the rivalries in the Big Ten, and always, Michigan State has been a huge one. And being here as a graduate assistant in 97 to 98, I was really able to, experience that firsthand and just feel the passion and the energy. There's not a day that goes by where you don't hear about this game from someone in one way, shape, or form. And so, it's certainly, not just a game, and that's what makes it college football special, are these types of rivalries. that's what makes it special to be here at State.
This question is from Rico Beer with 97.1 The Ticket.
Coach, coming off of the Rutgers loss, how do you get your team amped up and prepare for the intensity that's going to come in playing the University of Michigan?
Yes, that's a great question, because it's, one thing that's very important to be able to handle is, if in fact you do lose a game, how do you handle a loss? How do you what is your mental disposition, coming off of a game like that? And so, the process is, win or lose, it's a 24-hour rule, and then it's time to move on to the next game, because the most important game is the next game. And so we, obviously we, self-evaluation, we watch the film, we see the things that need to be corrected, and put a plan in place to do that, and to make sure the players understand, where we fell short, and then how we can get better, and give them a path to success. But then also you want to look at the positives and things that you feel that you can build upon, and certainly we have some of those in the game. And then and after you make those evaluations about the previous game, then you quickly turn the page and focus, on the next game. And so, we've done that. We're well into our game plan for the school up the road, and so our focus is a laser focus on this game on Saturday.
Our next question is from Lindsey Huddleston.
Thank you. Hello, Mel. The elephant in the room. Hey, when you look at social media, at least when I look at social media, you see fans feeling let down. How do you deal with the negativity that comes from that, or that feeling that the quote unquote honeymoon may be over?
Yeah, well, that's to be expected. I believe this is my 24th year of coaching, and when you don't have success, I mean, there's disappointment. There's disappointment from the coaching staff. There's disappointment on the player side of it, and then the fans and everyone involved. And so, because the expectation is to have success and do that on a consistent basis. And so, we go to the truth, and understand, why were we not able to have the success on the field that we expected, and that's up to the standard. Why were we not able to play up to that standard? And the answer is obviously turnovers. We talked about the turnover margin being the number one determining factor in winning and losing in college and pro. If you turn the ball over 7 times, you just really don't give yourself a chance to win. And then also, we had too many penalties, and 100 yards in penalties is worth about 7 points. And so, we didn't have 100 yards in penalties, but we gave up some points in terms of in the penalty category. And so, you look at those things and you say that, these are the reasons why we weren't successful. Then you look to get them fixed, and then you move on. But I do feel the disappointment. But it's important for me as a head coach and as a leader to move on to the next game and turn the page. We'll learn from it. We've got a young football team that's bought in, that's eager, that's motivated and wants to do well. And we've done some good things, and and this is a week to get some things cleaned up and improve. I believe that you typically make your most improvement from game 1 to game 2, and so that's really where our focus is. But I do feel the passion from the fans, and I greatly appreciate that caring and that want to is there, and no one is more disappointed than myself.
Going into the game this year? I
do remember vividly, how we embraced that game. I've had some pretty good mentors that I work with that embrace rivalry games, and obviously, at that time, with Coach Saban, it made to be a special game. It was emphasis put on it, and I can remember the intensity going into that game and the preparation. It's when you have these rivalry games, it's just different. There's no way around it. And the places that I've been, and I've been very fortunate as a player, very fortunate as a coach to be a part of these rivalry games, whether it's Auburn, Alabama, or Georgia, Florida, Ohio State, Michigan State, Chicago, Green Bay, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and all of those rivalry games, we've embraced those games, and really and treated them special, and there's no difference. There's no difference here and now. We know this is not just a game, but obviously from a process standpoint, we have to focus on the day-to-day preparation and the things that you do to put yourself in a position to perform well and have success in the game. And so we cannot just be focused on the destination. We've got to embrace also the journey along the way to get us to that point. And so that's where our focus is today.
Thanks, Mel.
You got it.
Next question is from Rico Cooney with Spartan Magazine.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon.
You obviously had some difficulties with pass pro on some situations, and I was just wondering, going forward, is it a question of those backs have to get it down, or maybe you tinkering things and maybe adding a fullback in the sets or adding an extra tight end out on the edge?
Yeah, that's a great question, because in our philosophy, first we want to be able to run the ball on our terms, and secondly, we need to be able to protect the quarterback. That's very important, and give him a clean pocket so he can deliver the ball accurately. And we have some guys that were open, and we weren't able to get the ball to them at times because of that. But we're really going to be focused on communication today and the rest of this week, making sure that we're making the proper calls up front, and that our line is coordinated with our tight ends and our backs, to make sure that we can pick up the pressures that we're going to get, and keep our quarterback upright and give him a clean pocket. And football is the ultimate team sport, and the key to it is to get all 11 guys on the same page on a consistent basis. And but when you're not on the same page, sometimes oftentimes you're not going to have success, and it can it's hard sometimes to pinpoint from afar exactly where the breakdown was, and oftentimes it's just more than one guy. And so we've just got to get guys on the same page, and we're working really hard to do that. Communication is going to be a huge emphasis for us today on both sides of the ball, because if we're on the same page in our execution, as we've seen, we do have the ability to make some plays.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next question is from Stephen Brooks with 24/7 Sports.
Hey, Mel. When you look at through the factors of coming off of a loss, of playing the biggest rival, and also playing them this early in the season, what sort of energy or vibe do you want to create in practice to make this week a little different than maybe anything of the past month when you talk about embracing it? And again, looking at those factors, just in practice, what will you sort of see or know that this will be different, or will you try to create to make things a little different this week?
Yeah, we're doing some things in house here to emphasize what this game means. In terms of educating our players, reminding our players what's at stake, and the Paul Bunyan Trophy, and then we have some coaches on our staff that have played in this game. And just talking about the history of the game, and we've showed guys videos, just framing it up for them in terms of putting in perspective of not only what this game means now, but what it's always meant, for us here at Michigan State. And so we're treating it special, and we're putting an emphasis on it, as well as continuing with our process of preparation, for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, things that you have to do, and every day, we're doing a little something different, to really, emphasize the importance of this game.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
This is from Nick Baumgartner with The Athletic.
Hey, Mel. Thanks for taking the time here this morning.
Thank you, Nick.
Julian Barnett didn't play a lot defensively. I know you guys are still shuffling him over, maybe moving positions from offense to defense. Is he still settling in there? Was he hurt, or was it just not ready for him? I'm just sort of curious why there wasn't more sort of reps for him, and if that's something you anticipate more of going forward.
Yeah, Julian did a really nice job on special teams for us, and we pointed that out to the rest of our team. We were able to show that on tape. Actually, met with him one-on-one this week, like I do with quite a few players during the week. Looking to connect with guys and having some one-on-ones, and I talked to him about how impressed I was with him and the effort he gave on special teams and some of the plays that he made, and then also the progress that he's making on defense. Obviously he's got tremendous upside, and he's really focused on improving, and so he's a player that is one of our better athletes, and is really important to him. So we're working really hard, and he's working really hard to develop him, and hopefully he'll be able to settle into a significant role at some point for us, sooner rather than later. But I like him as a player. I like what he brings to the table. He's working really hard, and I really enjoy working with him. Everything that we do is about establishing our culture and our brand of football, and laying the foundation for our program. Every meeting, every practice, every scrimmage, and certainly every game. And this game is no different. Rivalry games are important for so many reasons, and oftentimes you are judged in how you play and how you coach in rivalry games, and so that's part of the beauty of it, that's what makes it special, and that is and so that's something that we embrace, and obviously we're looking to put our best foot forward, but we've got a lot of work to do between now and Saturday to prepare for that. So it's something that that I look forward to. Our players are really focused on it, and we're going to prepare, and then we're going to go into the game, and we're going to play hard, and we're going to be physical, and we're going to put our best foot forward.
And just to follow up, I mean, do you see it as essential for in-state recruiting and such, just to get some momentum on that end as well?
Yeah, there's so many things that go into recruiting, and I don't. My experience has been it usually doesn't come down to one game in particular. It's usually about where a player feels like where he can contribute and where he can make a difference. And the player and student athlete and his family, they're looking for a good fit, and they're looking for a connection with the coaching staff. They're looking for an opportunity for a great education, and that total experience, and just where they can be, where a player can grow and be successful and develop. And so that there's a lot of factors that go into recruiting, and but obviously when you have success versus a in-state rival, that certainly can't hurt.
Next question will go to Stone with 97 won the ticket, Detroit. I think we're having some audio difficulties. I'm hearing Stoney. Coach, I can't hear him either.
I tried to hear, but just couldn't get that one done.
All right, we'll move on. Looks like we had some difficulties there, so we'll go to Matt Wenzel with M Live.
And Mel, a little hard to follow that one up, but
I think it had something to do with. I think it was a rivalry question. I think sounded like it.
Yeah, hard to follow that up, but I was wondering what you and Jim have both coached in the NFL, coached in colleges. Have your paths ever crossed? Have you met him? Whether obviously a coaching clinic or something, or just from being on opposing sidelines, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've met Jim. I've actually coached against him at least once, I believe, when I was in Chicago and he was in San Fran as the head coach. I was able to, we were able to match up, and yeah, I actually know his brother. I actually know his brother, probably better than I know him. But I know that he's a fantastic coach, and that he's a football guy, comes from a football family, and obviously I have a respect for all of our coaches in this conference, and all of the coaches that I get a chance to compete against.
Thanks, Mel.
Thank you.
Next question. I'm trying to get everybody in here. We got Antoine Simmons waiting, just so you know, and he's got class here in a little bit. So we have about 5 minutes left with Coach. We're going to go to Kellen Buddy with WILX. Kellen?
Sorry, I'm muted. Thanks. Hey, Coach. Just a couple questions about Rocky. When we spoke to him earlier, he mentioned, keeping him in that whole game was really big for his confidence heading into the rivalry game here against Michigan. So just kind of a two-parter here. Talk about that trust that you have with Rocky. He showed a lot of potential. Despite having a few interceptions, a few kind of different mistakes there. And I guess kind of adding on to that, was there any thought at all about maybe going to Peyton or Theo, kind of I don't know. Any thoughts on going to anybody else in that game?
You know, I told Rocky after the game, immediately after the game, that I thought that he did some really good things in the game. I think he completed like 72% of his passes. You know, he made some really good throws. He was poised. You know, he was a good leader. You know, I never saw him rattled. You know, he continued to play the next play. You know, I think he was, you know, the passing yards that he had maybe ranked him, you know, in the top 15th in the country, and his completion percentage was high, and the red zone production was good. And so, you know, just like all of us, you know, we've got some work to do and some things to improve, but I really liked, you know, how he approached the game, his preparation leading up to the game, put him in a position to go out there and start and make some plays for us. And we're going to build on some of the things that he did in that game, and then some things we need to clean up. You know, he's very coachable, and his want-to factor is really, really high. So, you know, he's and also, you know, with Peyton and Theo and Noah, you know, those guys are also capable, and we feel comfortable with those guys going in the game. But I never felt like there was a need or any discussion about taking Rocky out, and I was very happy with the way he competed in the game.
Thanks, Coach.
Just for timing purposes, we got to move on. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get everybody in. So we'll go to Audrey Dahlgren with WLNS.
Hi, Mel.
Hi.
Can you hear me? I've been having audio issues, so I'm sorry. I'll be quick. But Rocky said that, you know, him and Antoine have pulled the freshmen aside. They've met with them this week to express to them how important this rivalry is. So how hungry is this team to snap the 2-game losing streak that you're on? But also, what does it mean to you to have leaders on your team drag the freshmen and kind of express to them the importance of this rivalry?
It's very important, and you know, leadership is so important on the team, and I've seen both of those guys step up, and I love to see that, and that's what a team does. You know, the older guys, you know, they educate the younger guys on the culture and the tradition and the importance of what it means to be a Spartan, and what it means to play to school down the road. And so I'm happy to see those guys do that. You know, that's a big part of developing a winning culture is having you know, great leadership from the players, and those two guys certainly have really stepped up to do that for us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Last question, we'll go to Chris Talar, the Detroit Free Press. Chris?
Let me get this right. You haven't said the word Michigan. Are you using basically the Ohio State terminology of the school down the road, school up the road? Is it intentional?
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any question from anyone who we're playing this week, and so it's the school down the road. You know, I think we all know who that is, and so I mean, I just think I think it's pretty obvious.
And my follow to that is totally different. With Trey Mosley going out of the game the other day, is there an injury update on him long term, or is it kind of a week by week thing with him?
Yeah, he's a little banged up. Got his legs a little banged up, so he's day to day and just working through it, working to get back.